wonderful people from the community who have come to join us. Can we say thank you to them all?
Thank you!
Today we came because we wanted to celebrate. We talked about what our library looked like before, about 2 years ago now. When Mrs. Ankowiak first came, there weren't enough books in the library for students to take out. Students could just look at them and then went back to class. So it was really important that we made a school that had a heart of the library. The heart of the school was the library. How many of you are excited to see the library when you walk in now? Right? How many of you have taken home books now? So that's what it's really all about. As Tilton Tigers, we talk about reading and how important it is. Who can give me one good reason why it's important to read?
Joe.
So you can read to grow up and know more about what happens, right? That's a great answer. You can put down your hands and we'll talk about it more later. But there's one man who I talked to. He came in and he said, Bonnie, Mrs. Ankowiak, to you, what do you want to do with this school? What's your big goal with this school? And my goal was to have a great library because I wanted kids to have the opportunity to learn about things that are outside these four walls. And that man was Dr. Maddox. Can we give him a big round of applause? Dr. Maddox went to see Mr. Scully, our superintendent of schools, and said, Mr. Scully, I want to give Tilton School $50,000. And he said, you know what? I bet if we ask the mayor and the city council and school committee, maybe the city of Haverhill will give them $50,000 more. So they went, and they're very persuasive. You know our persuasive writing? They did some persuasive talking. And the city of Haverhill gave us $50,000 more. Big round of applause. So, I think he's coming now. Timing is everything. Yeah. Mayor Fiorentini, give her a round of applause. So, Mayor Fiorentini, we were thanking you. We were thanking you for matching our donation and giving $50,000 towards the Tilton Library. So thank you. Do you want to say any words as you just walked in, or?
Good timing.
Good timing.
I want to start by thanking Dr. Maddox. I didn't do anything out of my pocket, but he did out of his. And he came up and donated $50,000 in order to make this library a reality. And it was all for you kids. The city was happy to match it. We're glad to do that. But the credit goes strictly to Dr. John Maddox. I don't know if you gave a round of applause.
We did, but we can give him
Let's give him another one. This whole district, a great district, once again as it has been. And we've got a lot to do. This is only the first step. But thank you, Dr. Maddox. Thank you, kids. I'm proud to be here again. And thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.
We've got a lot to do up here, and we'll be talking a lot about it in the next few weeks. The most important thing that we're going to do is to decide who goes to school here. We're going to work hard on that, so that all of you kids have an opportunity to go to a great new school in your neighborhood. Thanks.
Thank you. And one more person before we have our special guest come out. Mr. Fantini, Joe Fantini over there in the green. You know all that wonderful bread we smell when we're out at recess? He's the man who makes it. And he came to us because we have a community now, a great community that believes in us, right? We talk about believing in ourselves and other people will believe too. Well, he believed in Tilton School and he gave us, him and his employees, gave us $20,000 for all those Chrome cards. You know the Chromebooks you use every day? Yeah. That's the man. Big round of applause. Sadly has not been found yet. We have thank you notes for you, and thank thank you notes for the mayor, from all the children in the school for everything you've done. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now, the exciting part of the day, I want Dr. Maddox, who really made this happen, to come on up and tell us a little bit about our special guest.
Okay, so I have a couple things to say to grown-ups, and then I'm going to talk to you guys, and then we're going to have a very special guest. You ready? On behalf of my family's foundation, the J.F. Maddox Foundation, it is an honor to be here today and to lift up the importance of children reading. Making sure kids are reading at grade level is one of the most important ways to break the cycle of poverty. The child who is not reading at grade level is more likely to drop out of school, to become a pregnant teen, to commit crimes, to be unemployed, to be dependent on society rather than contributing. This affects all of us. My family is 2 generations removed from being poor. What made the difference in the lives of my great uncle and grandfather was learning to read and getting an education. This lifted them to a place where now we can give back. My wife's family is 1 generation removed from poverty. My father-in-law was an immigrant child during the Great Depression. As soon as my wife, who grew up in Haverhill, was able to write her name, her dad took her to the local library to get a library card. He wanted his children to read and to get the education they needed for a successful future. Based on the 2016 PARCC results, 3 out of the 5 third graders at this school were not reading at grade level. The principal and staff here are doing great work. These issues are complex, involving home and school, but it is our challenge and opportunity for these children in 2 years to take that test, and 5 out of 5 of them be reading at grade level. Today, Tilton has a new library, and all of these kids here and around the district are taking home a book of their own. And this is the point. We in Haverhill need to commit to do what it takes to get all kids reading at grade level. Some of the work involves money and library and books. Some of it involves administrators and teachers and nurses. Some of it involves parents and grandparents and neighbors. And I hope these donations will stimulate a new resolve in Haverhill, allowing us to rise to the occasion. And I thank all of you who helped make it happen. Now, kids. Who knows the name of the quarterback for the New England Patriots? Yes, you. Yeah. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, right. Who? Now, here's a question. I want you to all shout out the answer. What's the name of your first grade teacher? Do you know who's going to make a bigger difference in your life? It's not Tom Brady. It's your first grade teacher. My first grade teacher is Mrs. Lindsay, and I'll never forget her, and you'll never forget your first grade teacher. Who likes to give presents? Whoever teaches you how to read is giving you one of the most important presents you'll ever get. How many of you have a parent or a grandparent or anybody at home who reads to you? Yeah. Well, they're doing important work too, and I want you to make sure you thank them for that. Last thing I want to say is I want you to take care of this library, and I want you to take care of the book you take home today. Those things are important because you're important. When this library was being renovated, the New England Patriots won an amazing Super Bowl. Does anybody remember that game? Yeah. Super Bowl? Me too. Before that Super Bowl, there was a news story on the television, and I met somebody on the news station that I never met before, and I want to show you guys that news video on that screen. So watch this for a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, your New England Patriots.
Generally speaking, Super Bowl pregame interviews aren't a great source of stimulating conversation. And yet every year, reporters gather 12 deep for this cliche fest.
Saying it's good when you come together as a team.
Fortunately, this year, there was a rookie from New England with something novel to talk about. Novels, like Gone Girl.
What about her false diary? How does the author use that in the narrative?
Well, the diary is almost a different character in the book.
I first met this voracious reader wide receiver 3 years ago. Malcolm Mitchell was in college then, playing for Georgia, when one day he ran into a woman at Barnes & Noble. She didn't know he was a famous football player and invited him to join her book club, which he did. And that's how one of the top wide receivers in the country began meeting monthly with his book club lady friends.
Oh yeah. And then he went to the wedding.
I love that.
He was the only man and the youngest by a generation. But Malcolm didn't care. Didn't care what anyone thought.
Somebody called me a nerd. It's not a word that I'm used to hearing.
Is it okay though? Are you okay with the label?
I was proud of it. Great. It's like a badge of honor to me. Knowing where I came from.
Malcolm confessed to me that when he started college, he could only read at about a junior high level, and it bothered him. So he started putting as much effort into his reading game as his football game.
Every free moment he had a book in his hand, until eventually he was reading them by the dozens.
Yeah, the end was great.
And that's why, no matter what he does on Sunday, Malcolm says football will never be his proudest accomplishment.
That came natural. That's a gift. I had to work to read.
Which brings us to the latest chapter in his life story.
After the interview we did, and I saw the reaction, you know, it kind of took on a life of its own. Good morning.
Today, the reader is a writer too.
So I wrote the book that you have in your hands today, The Magician's Hat.
The Magician's Hat is a children's book about the magic of reading.
Follow your dreams.
He has also started a kids' literacy foundation, all of which leads me to the same conclusion I had after my first meeting with Malcolm.
If we could all just follow your example, the country would be in a perfectly good place.
You know how much that means to me, man.
Malcolm Mitchell,
Seriously.
Super Bowl winner. Steve Hartman, on the road in Houston.
So, guys, so important.
So everybody turn around, fix yourselves, legs like a pretzel, hands in your laps, eyes on Dr. Maddox,
So
mouths are closed, ears are open, he's ready.
it's so important that you guys work hard in school and do what it takes to learn how to read, that somebody that won the Super Bowl and the New England Patriots came all the way to Tilton School to visit with you guys. So I think we should stand up and give him a standing ovation. Let's say hello to Malcolm Mitchell.
I'm from a small town in Georgia, and today I'm currently a player for, I guess you know, the world champion England Patriots. But there's something that's way more important to me than that. Something that brought me here today. Can anybody guess what that is? Just blurt it out. Reading. Reading is really important to me. And today I want to tell you why. Is that okay? Yes! So growing up when I was your age, I wasn't a great reader. I was actually scared to read. But I learned when I got to college, in order to be the best person I could possibly be, in order for me to reach my full potential, in order for me to graduate from college, in order for me to play football, in order for me to be a part of the NFL and a Super Bowl winning team, I needed to read. Because to succeed, you have to read. When I was in college, I met a group of ladies that you saw in the video that helped me reach my goal. And I made it my mission to go out and try to help every kid understand that they can be whatever they want to be when they grow up. They just need to be able to read. I always tell kids, in order to read, So in order to succeed, you have to read. And I want you to remember that. Because I truly believe that you can become whatever you want to be. And you have great teachers, a great community, a great foundation that supports you, that grants you the opportunity to have this library full of books so you can go out and accomplish whatever goal you set for yourself. But trust me when I say I understand it's not easy. Because when I was your age, I told you I was scared to read. It's not something that I love to do, and I actually shied away from it. But I always go around and I encourage kids to read because just because it's hard, you just have to fight through it and keep working to be the best you can possibly be. Is that a deal? Yes. Because in order to succeed, you have to what? Read. I heard you be louder than that just a second. Perfect. Now, this is something cool. Through reading, it encouraged me to write. When I was in college, I started reading a bunch of books. I started off with small books like The Giving Tree. Has anybody heard of that? Or The Hungry Caterpillar. I started reading books like that. And then eventually I got better and I got better and I got better. It encouraged me to write my own book, which is called The Magician's Hat. And today I want to do something that I was terrified to do when I was your age, and that's read aloud. And I would like to read the book that I wrote to you, and then we can talk about it afterwards. Is that okay? Yes! Okay, perfect. Is this my copy to read?
It is.
Okay. I will sit here. I'll make sure I try to show everybody the pictures. And we'll follow along. The title of the book is The Magician's Hat. And I had a really good friend do the art. His name was Dennis Campay. And it was written by yours truly, Malcolm. Now I'll start. Family Fun Day at the City Public Library is a special Saturday that everyone looks forward to. The library was known for having cool and exciting events. For the first time, there was a magician named David. Everyone gathered around the magician to see him perform. After a series of tricks, the magician was ready to perform his favorite trick of all. He took off his magic hat and began to tell the audience his story. When I was your age, my mom received an invitation from the library about Family Fun Day. During the book scavenger hunt, I wandered into the library. Out of the hundreds of books, one jumped out at me. It was a book about magic. Reading this book inspired me to become a magician. What do you want to be when you grow up? Excited, Amy raised her hand and shouted, "I want to be a dentist." The magician asked Amy to reach inside the hat. She reached deeper and deeper into the hat until she felt something. A book. The magician asked Amy, "What is your book about?" She screamed, "It's about teeth." In awe, Matt raised his hand and blurted, "I want to be a famous football player." The magician smiled and held out his magical hat for Matt to reach into. Let's see what magic you can find inside. Matt reached deeper and deeper until he felt something. Matt roared, "My book is about football." Wait a second, this is not magic, Ryan barked from the back of the crowd. Amy's and Matt's parents must have told the magician what they want to be when they grow up. The magician challenged Ryan, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" This was Ryan's chance to prove that the magician was a fake. So he snickered and said, "A dog." The magician asked Ryan to reach into the magical hat. At first, he could not feel anything. So Ryan reached deeper and deeper until he felt something. Looking at the magician, a puzzled expression flashed across Ryan's face. The book was not about dogs. It was about outer space. Ryan had always dreamed of becoming an astronaut. "Whoa," whispered Ryan. "How'd you do that?" "I'm not doing anything," said the magician. "You are." "I am?" asked Ryan. "Yes, you. The dreams and desires that are within you created this book. Follow your dreams, and they will take you wherever you want to go." The magician turned his hat so everyone could see inside. What are your dreams? Maxine? Just like Amy, Matt, and Ryan, can we all agree that we want to be something when we grow up? When I was growing up, I wanted to be a football player, and today I have other dreams, because I want to be a writer too. If there's one thing I know that will help all of us accomplish our goals. Can anybody guess what that is?
Reading.
Reading will help us all. It helps me every day. On the ride over here this morning, I was reading. When I get home, when I'm not practicing football, I like to read because I know it'll help me be the person that I want to be. And just like the characters in the book, there's a book out there that's just for you. Because I know a lot of times we don't read because either we don't like the book, and I don't like every book that I read, but there are books that I really love to read. It could be about sports, it could be about animals, it could be about whatever you want it to be about. There's a book out there that will help you accomplish whatever goal you set. Okay? And I know that reading won't always be fun, because trust me, I understand. It wasn't long ago that I was in school. As a matter of fact, I was in college last year. So, I'm only 23 years old. So I do understand that there are some challenges with reading, and I faced those same challenges not long ago. But I want you to understand that you just have to work hard and practice, and one day it'll be a lot easier. It'll help you accomplish whatever goal you set for yourself. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Promise?
Yes.
Pinky promise? Because you know, in order to succeed, you have to what?
Read.
Okay, let's try it again.
Read.
Perfect. Now, is it okay if I have you ask me a couple questions?
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anyone have a question? Someone's got their hand raised right now.
Sure. What's your question?
Is that you?
Was that me in the video? That was me in the video.
Is that you?
That's not me.
That is you.
Hey, who has another question?
That is me right there in that picture.
You touched the football. You touched the football.
So a good audience lets somebody talk, so fix yourselves.
Rebecca.
Yes.
If they're reading and you keep on reading, it's like you'll never get stuck on a word if you keep on reading that shit.
That's true. So when I first started reading, I didn't read that well, so I get stuck on a lot of words. But as I kept reading and kept getting better, and I practiced reading just as much as I practiced football, I began to read and not get stuck on that many words. So you're right.
Are you famous?
Am I don't think so.
Let's do two more good questions.
What is it like playing football?
What is it like playing football? It's fun. So, what grade are you in? You're in first grade. I've been playing football since I was in fourth grade. So I was about 10, I'm 23. Can anybody guess how long I've been playing football? I've been playing football for 13 years. So it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. One more. How many times did the Patriots win? A lot more than I can count.
So, can you give a big round of applause? Not just because you're part of the Patriots, but because you believe. Teach kids to believe in themselves. To never give up. And it's really about community. And we keep on telling our students that the more they believe in themselves, the more people will notice. So we're so happy to have you here. And one of the things that we do is we celebrate successes. We think that's important. And we like to cheer people on. So one thing we do is before MCAS or something great happens, we have parades. So we want you to lead our parade through the hallway.
Okay.
I'll come with you.
Okay.
Don't be scared. I'm a good blocker. And the kids are going to be lining up in the hallways to thank you, so everybody can see you.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll come back here for a reception with everybody. Any adults are welcome to join our parade so they can see all the fun. But once again, before we leave, I noticed that somebody roared in your story. And something we do here is we roar. And it stands for something. So I'm going to have Mrs. Perry's class stand up. And I'm going to have Mrs. Perry help us, lead us, just so you know what ROAR stands for here at Tilton School. Mrs. Perry, you're on. Lovely.
So what does R stand for?
Respectful and kind to others.
What does O stand for?
Outstanding attitude.
What does A stand for?
Always be safe.
And what does the last R stand for?
Responsible for your learning.
So we believe that if we roar not only in school, but out of school, our character gets better. And we'll someday be someone like you, who gives back to the community and believes in themselves. Thank you. So, but before we go on our parade, you have to believe if you come into Tilton School. So here's your believe button. I can't. I apologize.
Mike, I can't do it. I just step in and do it.
I'd rather be in a different room. We are also writers, just like you. So our Discovery Club, our after school for enrichment and tutoring, they created a book all about Tilton School in English and in Spanish. And so we want to make sure that you have a copy for your library.
Thank you.
And we have a thanks card for you. With all the signatures from everyone in this room. So big round of applause. Are we ready? Woo! Hurry up! We believe, everybody! Woo!
What's your parents?